I got a small amount of requests for this next one, but it keeps bugging me and I couldn't resist. So today we're going to be talking about everything you missed in Marvel's movie, Ant-Man. I hid these 5 stickers in today's video. Find them all and I could be taking you to the movies with a $25 AMC gift card. That should cover the movie popcorn and a drink. Just comment where these little guys are and include hashtag AntMan in your comment for your chance to win. Honestly, I wasn't very excited about Ant-Man, but then I recently saw AntMan and Wasp in theaters and the little guy grew on me. So that made me go back to Ant-Man and watch it a little bit closer.
Tales to astonish.
In case you're wondering why Hope smirked at Darren Cross, besides the fact that he's the creepy bad guy, it's also because he just made a reference to Tales to Astonish number 27. This is the first comic to introduce Ant-Man.
Tales to astonish.
Also in this comic, the very first thing that Hank Pym ever shrank was a chair. When Darren's showing off the new suit, look in the background and you will see the first thing they show is a chair being shrunk. The building we see being constructed will become S.H.I.E.L.D's headquarters in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. This tiny building, one could say, is a tiny building designed for ants, just like in Zoolander.
What is this?
A center for ants!
And now, of course, we know where Finnick from Zootopia got his tiny van. He stole it from Lewis. You might be thinking I'm stretching this next one, but follow me with this. Disney now owns the little ant and his entire team. And the horn in the van is playing La Cucaracha. And the movie is about an insect who saves the day. Disney also happens to have a movie about an insect who saves the day as well. You probably heard about it, it's called Bug's Life. And in Bug's Life, when Hopper and his gang are living the high life, the grasshoppers are singing La Cucaracha.
La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Oh no.
Either way, with my Pixar obsession, I'm thinking that looks like the famous Chinese takeout box.
You liar!
One thing Marvel probably didn't plan on happening to the van though was having the background extra pee on it, literally. So the story is they hired a bunch of homeless people to play as background extras in the movie, and TMZ caught one of them who thought the van would make a perfect urinal. So Marvel decided to pay this guy $175 and kicked him off the set. In case you didn't know this, Marvel is super secret about the movies that they're working on, and one thing they did was on all the clapboards, instead of having the movie title say Ant-Man, they had it read Bigfoot. As an inside joke to the fake movie they were pretending to be making, on the newspaper next to Scott's Jail Time article, it talks about the Sasquatch, which is basically Bigfoot. Another newspaper Easter egg though is when Scott's escaping the prison, we see for not even a second the ant lands on a newspaper on the trolley that says, "Who's to blame for Sokovia?" This is obviously calling out the Avengers Age of Ultron. Peyton Reed was the director for Ant-Man, and Peyton was born in Raleigh, North Carolina. Why is that important here though? Because the giant Carbondale safe in Hank's basement was made in Raleigh, North Carolina. And I probably said that city wrong, so now everyone in that city hates me. Paul Rudd, who played the character Scott Lang, got to have his own Easter egg in the movie as well. When he works for Baskin-Robbins, his name is Jack. And some people think that this is a reference to Jack Kirby, a famous comic book artist.
Wrong!
Go grab a juice box, have a nap, go on.
But in reality, the name Jack is a reference to Paul Rudd's son. To confirm this little Easter egg though, listen to the name of the co-worker.
Darby, could you just take care of this idiot? Thanks.
Darby is named after Paul's real-life daughter. So we learned Baskin-Robbins always finds out.
Baskin-Robbins always finds out.
But how in the world did they actually find out? Well, not only did Hank plan his own home invasion, he also got Scott fired from Boston Market. Wait a second, did I just say Boston Market? I meant to say Baskin-Robbins, but Boston Market just tastes so good. Sorry, I got distracted, I'm hungry. So back to the Easter egg. We know Hank got Paul fired because he left a clue on Dale the manager's desk. When Jack is sitting down, look in the pen holder and you will see a very unique Birdman cap. And later on, when Scott is trying to make a fingerprint, if you look closely in the drawer, you will see the same pen cap. Even though if you look closely, when they were filming, they forgot to put the pen cap in half the shots. Literally, as he's sitting down, 1 second it's there, then the next second, it's gone. Unless Hank was using the Ant-Man suit in that very moment. While we're sitting here watching Darren's fancy speech, they give a clue that Hank's toy tank isn't actually a toy. During Darren's little soapbox speech, we see a tiny figure, aka Hank, in the battle where we see the tank being used, and it's the same exact tank we know because the number on it is 153. So now we know where he got this miniature tank. The key on his keychain though is also a reference to Indian in the Cupboard, which along with Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was inspiration for how they filmed a shrinking movie.
I gave them each half a Xanax and Hank explained the science of the suit to them.
And just on a side note, if you're getting ready to do a heist, it's probably not a good idea to give your team Xanax right before the heist, especially since one of the side effects is memory loss. This next Easter egg is going to be a 2-for-1 special, plus $19.99 shipping and handling. When Lewis says,
I was thinking of a tactic, like when I go undercover, like a whistling, you know what I'm saying, to like blend in.
Scott Lang says it's not the Andy Griffith Show.
Don't whistle. No whistling. It's not the Andy Griffith Show.
Because Barney Fife, which is one of the cops in the Andy Griffith Show, would always whistle while he's on patrol. Or when he was very suspiciously not trying to act suspicious. The whistling though that Lewis is tooting is the song from Disneyland's ride, It's a Small World.
It's a small world after all.
No, anything but that.
Some of you may already know this. I was asked on Twitter if I'm Team Captain America or Team Iron Man, and I picked Team Iron Man because he's more realistic like Batman. And Paul Rudd replied to me saying this.
Nate, Team Iron Man. Oh, Nate. How many other horrible decisions have you made in your life? I'm guessing a lot.
So today's survey question is this: are you Team Iron Man or Team Captain America? Let's see how many people are on Paul Rudd's side. Of course, the question is, what side is Paul Rudd actually on? Fun little fact, if you listen to the commentary in the movie, Paul can't even make up his own mind as to which side he's on. Paul. It's easy to not make a mistake when you never make a decision, is it? Trigger warning for vegans! The day they filmed The Shrinking Lamb, guess what the film crew had for lunch? And I'm not making this up, they had lamb chops. So even though this lamb survived the shrink gun, some poor little sheep out there somewhere got served up with a side of gravy. And maybe toast with a little jam? Frank knows all about jam. When he got the wrong end of the shrink gun, they used strawberry jam to pull off this little effect right here. One little thing that they probably weren't trying to get you to see though was the cameraman. But when they zoomed in on Scott in the van, we can clearly see a cameraman in the rearview mirror. Got him! In the final act, the train that they're fighting on is none other than Thomas the Tank Engine from Thomas and Friends. But Thomas and Friends isn't really and Friends unless we see, of course, some of his friends there. That's why we also see Annie and Clarabelle. Those are Thomas's coaches, and also Emily's coaches. To celebrate Thomas and Friends' 70th anniversary, the owners of Thomas let him be an Ant-Man so long as there's a few rules applied.
That's it. 3. 1, 2, 3.
Thomas couldn't appear to take anyone's side, or he couldn't be evil, and he couldn't run anybody over. So don't worry, doodly-do-right, no one's getting tied to the tracks today. Another Easter egg we see in Peanut's bedroom is Flounder sitting up in the corner from Little Mermaid. Then unfortunately he gets shot by the Yellow Jacket.
Yeah, right.
But listen closely to the sound of the blasters on that Yellow Jacket suit. It's the same sound from the creepy crawlers in Star Wars called AT-AT walkers. Speaking of creepy crawlers, the bullet ant is claimed to be the most painful insect bite in the world.
Giant tropical bullet ants ranked highest on the Schmidt-Pain Index.
But it's not actually a bite like this little guy bites him on the neck. Instead, it's more like a sting. Kind of like a sting from a bee, only much more painful. Stanley is to Marvel what the Pixar Planet truck is to Pixar.
Nobody has any idea.
So we're gonna obviously see a cameo to him in the movie. In the end, when Lewis is telling Scott that the Avengers are looking for him, the bartender in his story is none other than Stan Lee. The reason why Hank knew he could tell these criminals about the safe and no one being home is because this took place in California. And in California, if you're arrested 3 times, you get 25 years to life in prison. The gang that he told was a group of criminals that already had 2 strikes, so they couldn't risk getting arrested a 3rd time. And we know this because the team is called Third Strikers. For the first time in Marvel, the writer chick who's fine,
Yeah, crazy stupid fine.
she introduces Spider-Man into the mix. Welcome aboard, Spider-Man. She's teasing that he is soon to become an Avenger, and she's pretty specific about that.
Well, we got everything nowadays. We got a guy who jumps, we got a guy who swings, we got a guy who crawls up the walls. You gotta be more specific.
The Hulk also got a cameo as well. If you remember in The Incredible Hulk, for a brief part of the movie, Bruce Banner worked for a soda company in Brazil called Pingo Doce. While in Ant-Man, we see a poster advertising for Pingo Doce. Even Hope gets to have her own little Easter egg. Hope is played by Evangeline Lilly, and she says her mom died in a plane crash, which is what her dad originally told her.
We lost her in a plane crash.
It's bad enough you won't tell me how she died. Could you please stop telling me that lie?
But why a plane crash? Because Evangeline, who played Hope, also played a character named Kate in a famous plane crash series you may have heard of called Lost. By the way, Kate was on the run for killing her dad, so watch your back, Hank. If you didn't recognize Falcon from Captain America, the Winter Soldier, or then later on, the Avengers, Age of Ultron,
I'll just pretend I didn't see it.
Besides, they're probably too busy dropping cities out of the sky.
probably making a city fall from the sky. This is obviously a reference to Avengers, Age of Ultron. Another first though was for Apple. When Scott and Darren are fighting in the briefcase, we hear Siri eavesdropping on their conversation, as always, trying to put her little 2 cents in. Of course, that's not a first for Apple. But what is a first for Apple is the iPhone.
Claim disintegration by the Cure.
This version of the iPhone that we see here is the iPhone 6S Gold. Ant-Man actually came out 3 months before Apple released this particular phone. Speaking of next, wait, who's speaking about next? In the beginning, we're given the clues that Pimtech was the bad guys. If you look closely at the hired security, see anything suspicious? How about this guy's neck? The tattoo is the 10 Rings, a terrorist organization in the Marvel Universe. The group that kidnapped Tony Stark in the first Iron Man also had the same tattoo. If by chance you haven't seen Ant-Man and the Wasp yet, mute the video till this spoiler sign is gone. We learn in Ant-Man and Wasp that Hank's wife didn't actually die, but in Ant-Man they actually gave us a hint to this fact. When Scott goes subatomic, if you watch carefully you will see a tardigrade, which is possibly the strongest known creature in our universe, and doesn't even need water to survive. So this was a breadcrumb to Ant-Man and Wasp because we see more tardigrades in Ant-Man and Wasp. Then as Ant-Man continues to shrink, we see a womanly shadow figure. In Ant-Man and Wasp, we learn that this is when Janet made her connection to Scott's brain. Back in 1979 on Saturday Night Live, Garrus Mord played the Ant-Man in a live sketch. Fast forward to today, he managed to sneak his way into the movie, obviously a little bit older now. When Scott is taking a crash course in the Ant-Man suit, he falls onto a car. This guy in the car is Garrett Morris, the Ant-Man from Saturday Night Live. Most people by now know that Marvel hides post-credit scenes after their credits, so the only way they can be sneaky is by putting a post-credit scene. So in Ant-Man you're gonna see this secret scene.
There's something I want to show you. I realized you can't destroy power. All you can do is make sure that it's in the right hands. This is an advanced prototype that your mother and I worked on together. She never got to use it. But now I realize that we were working on it for you. Maybe it's time we finished it.
It's about time.
Then if you keep watching past more credits, you're gonna see this scene.
Hey, Cap.
This would have been a lot easier a week ago.
If we call Tony...
No, he won't believe us.
Even if he did...
Who knows if the Accords will let him help?
We're on our own.
Maybe not. I know a guy.
Also in a deleted scene we see Ant-Man trying to mimic C-3PO from Star Wars.
I'm C-3PO.
If you enjoyed this video, you already know what to do. If you didn't enjoy the video, you probably already did it. So let me know what movie you want to talk about next, subscribe so you don't miss our next adventure, and remember, most importantly of all, Gentleheads, share a smile, they are contagious.
I feel great.
Hey,
Imagine a day without smiling. That would be outrageous. Thanks for stopping by and hanging out with Crazy Nate. Make sure to leave a thumbs up if he left you feeling